if I hadn't assembled myself, I'd have fallen apart by now.
Bloody g'day, you absolute mad dog legends. Kade here from KadeTurner.com. I am an Australian bassist and I'm an educator and I'm an absolute geek on tones. This video is a little bit different and a bit more in depth because I'm going to take you guys in the box and show you how I've mixed the tone and blended the DIs and prepared the audio for mastering for my cover of Make Yourself by Incubus. In my opinion, this is one of the best tones I've ever pulled for KadeTurner.com. I'm stoked on it. I've used my custom Corvette 2023 Warwick neck through. I've strung it with DR Black Beauties, which are just amazing and they suited that humbucker very well. I've ran it through my Avalon U5 DI, my locally made Giles Audio VDI, a Mesa Boogie Subway DI for tone, and there's a reamp through my locally made GA124 rack compressor. I'll be going into super geek detailed level audio explanations and the whole process behind my creating and mixing for this cover. So strap in because she's gonna be an amazing geek session and I hope you bloody enjoy it. Any questions with audio, any tuition for tone, technique or theory, please hit me up. Kade at KadeTurner.com. This is my work. I love it. I live for it. I'm here to help. Let's get your bass tone sorted. But more importantly, let's get ready to fucking geek out. All right, you mad dogs. So welcome to this legendary session. First up, I'm running a webcam. Hello, legends. I'm running a camera behind me, which I'm monitoring that off my phone, running my microphone into an Apogee One into my MacBook, and I'm screen recording here. So there's a fair bit going on. And first and foremost, let's listen to just the master, how I wanted it to sound. And Joe from Crystal Mastering and myself worked on that. And yeah, it really come out good. So we'll have a listen. Just wait for that kick in. Incredible. Really, really, really good. And when it all comes in here, awesome. So let's listen now to the original track of Incubus that I think come out in 99, if I'm correct. See my little mullet from the back there? Yeah, I think it come out in 99. Do a little bit of a balance here. So jump from that to the master. You can hear it's just totally different. Now, what I've done, I've got the CD quality version and I've also spat that into AI and got the drums out, right? Let's just listen to everything raw. Now listen to the track on its own again. Listen to the track on its own here. Now listen with the drums. Totally different. It's just, yeah, totally different. So what we're dealing with, as you'll see here, is Incubus's original track, me blending that with the drums, and then I've shown you the final master. Now, everything's off. Every plugin, everything. I'll get rid of everything here. As you can see, the limiter on the master is doing nothing anyway. Threshold of -1 dB and a ceiling of -2 was just there in case I had any, bad peaks before sending it to mastering. Avalon U5. Now, let's just loop the slap part on its own. You'll notice that's extremely quiet, but I'll bring that up. Kind of raw sounding, but then what I've done, gone in and added an EQ. Now I really like this EQ. You can see what's going on. It's awesome. I'll always roll off around 40. Do I have equipment to hear that low? Not really, but it saves me sending a shitload of stuff that I can't hear through processing. Here I've just pulled 1 to 2 dBs, all I ever pull out of an initial reduction EQ. Had some woofers at 140, some stuff I didn't like at 300, 600, 2.7K, 7K. And I'll make that up with output gain anyway, so it's not doing a whole heap, it's just reducing. Now, I have slammed this with a multiband. You can actually see here we're reducing 6, 8, 3, 3. I would never reduce that much on a compressor, but the point of using this Avalon in this setup was to be able to crush the shit out of it and have pretty much a low squashed still mid voicing DI throughout it. Then I've run it through, as you'll see here, an LA2A, 1 to 3 dB reduction, same makeup gain, so unity, it'll come in as it goes out, and that is there purely just to smooth it out. It's not a fast compressor, literally just a leveler. So that's the Avalon on its own. Now I'll mute that and show you my Giles Audio VDI on its own. Pretty mid-raw, pretty, I don't know, nice and raw. But what I've done there is EQ'd it again. Just schmicked it up, made some output gain unity, rolled lows off at 35 here. I mean, you get a visual indicator, but obviously you've always got to use your ears. This had some crazies at 150, 300, 700, 2K and 4K. That's just what I've done. Now, muting here, I've then ran the Avalon and the Giles into an aux channel with more reduction EQ. This very, very cool double tap submission audio compressor that's basically just slammed it and boosted it. I would never do this on its own, but the Avalon and the Giles were there purely to be smashed. Have a little bit of voicing, but still be smashed. So have a listen to them both together. Starting to get somewhere now. and I'll put the double tap on, and you'll hear a real thumpy low end there. I'll give you the verse with this to hear it. So that's come out nice. Final of the first ox is just a presence boost at 7K and some at 1.5. This compressor has different, you know, you can see between 1.5 and 2, she's a bit bloody scooped there. But I liked this sound together, and that was the first part of the chain. So I'll then turn that off. Now what happens, that ox gets sent to the final, and that then gets blended in with the second part. So next part of the chain is a Mesa Boogie Subway DI. Let's hear that on its own. Mid-scooped brilliance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Total different sound. Now let's hear that slapped. Totally different sound, right? Once again, reduction EQ. Nothing crazy. I already rolled off the mids, I should say, in recording. I remember doing that on the actual Subway. Pulled out, once again, only 1 to 2 dB is all I'll do on reduction, unless it really needs it. Pulled out some at a hunch, 250, 5 hunch, and 11K has a bit of a hiss. I'll run that up for you to hear it. Little bit harsh, that one. So that one's come down -1 there. So yeah, that's what we've done there. Now that Mesa has then been run into a Cali 76, which is really cool. We're only reducing between 1 and 3. Fast attack and release, as you can see. Just enough to fatten it up. And I like this specific Cali, this 76 SE, because it just seems a little bit brighter than the initial black one. Now that could be a placebo and I'm tripping, but I don't think it is. Now, my favourite, the Mesa has run into a Pull Tech. Beautiful boost. Listen to that difference. Amazing. Now we're getting somewhere with tone shaping. Pretty broad bandwidth, which is your cue. Boosted quite a bit at 10K. Smashed some at 1.5 and 700. Let's hear that again with and without. Beautiful. So what's then happened is the Mesa has been reamped through a rack compressor, which is my GA124, and that's just enough to smooth it out. I mean, the wave files, they don't look totally different, but they are, and the audible side of it is quite noticeable. Once again, a reduction EQ. You're probably seeing a familiar pattern here. On and off. Just brought out some nasties at 150, 3 hunch, 3K and 10.5. Now, how I find my bad frequencies is just by doing this. If I feel or hear bad stuff happening there, that's exactly what I'll pull out. I think we had that at about 1 or 1.5 reduction. Now, this has then gone through a Pull Tech, and I've just boosted some 5K there, some 1.5, which always sounds good on the Pull Tech. Ripped out a bit at 2 hunch, gave another boost at 700, and let's hear the difference again with the slap. Off. Oh, once it takes me back there. If it wants to get me back there. Cool. So, not engaged. Totally different engaged. So then what's happening? We've got a Mesa Boogie Subway, Mesa Boogie into a rack compressor, an Avalon U5 solid state DI, a Giles VDI locally made. That's a twin tube. I think it has two different tubes actually, the AX7 and another one that's a bit smoother, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't pulled it out for a while, so sorry, I haven't pulled it apart for a while, so don't quote me on that. But what's happening now, we've got everything into a bass final, right? The 4 channels are heading into that. Now, as I take the mute off the Mesa rack, the Mesa Subway, and then the Giles and Avalon, we're left with a thicker, fuller, more throaty sound. Done some low end roll off and a slight bit of EQ pull at 2K, but then a bit of a boost at 8.5. You can see I just wanted that high end up there a bit. Didn't alter the overall dB of that much. Now I have this into a multi-band, the whole 4 channels into a multi-band, and you can see it's not doing a heap, right? It's just a little bit on the slapping, little bit on the low mids, and a little bit on the overall lows, which are below 125. Now, I don't need to do a whole heap to the lows because we've already done that already in the Avalon and the Giles. So I'll then run a limiter on the bass bus just to make sure I'm not sending anything smashing to the master. So that's the bass with everything. I can hear a Warwick, I can hear DR strings. Yes, I can hear processing on it, but hey, that's what we do. That's why I'm here. And look, I really like this oxide tape bloody emulator, you know, like, is it a bit of a wank? I don't know. I reckon it gives that little bit of a glue, and I'll show you with it on and off just on the bass. To me, it's given me Rage Against the Machine early day analog vibes. Without and with. Just fills it up a bit. As I mentioned earlier, master limiter not doing much. So let's hear the bass and just the drums now. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now, let's hear what Joe got when I sent it with the band. Now, you can hear that kick is smashing. You can hear that. Once I add the band back in, not too overpowering, but I deliberately left the drums smashing so Joe could crunch them a bit. Put it through, I'm assuming, a Shadow Hills master comp, and then bring out that bass a little bit. So that's the final part here. Hear the bridge. Oh, I'm happy with that writing. Beautiful. Hear the outro. Awesome. Bloody awesome. Now, back to the master. Let's get rid of everything and just hear the master now on its own. And the bridge. It sucked the drums in and just made it sound incredible. The bass sounds like throaty thunder to me. And let's have a listen to the outro. I'm really happy with my parts in this outro too. Awesome. So what I'm hearing now is just an amazing mix, an amazing master, and that's how I was able to obtain that. Thanks for tuning in, you mad dogs. That's a brief insight into the process I go through and the way my brain works with audio and how I obtain it. Please hit me up, Kade at kadeturner.com for any bloody questions. I love yous. Cheers, and that was bloody sick. Woo!